Welcome, seekers of essence and lovers of layered narratives, to an installment that might change the way you look at the faces you think you already know. This is your sanctuary for nuance, sincerity, and exclusivity. Lights on, Turkish stars. In a world where fame is measured in decibels and attention is fought with spectacle, sometimes a single, quiet image can silence the noise and command the room. Today, we step into the orbit of a woman who turns stillness into speech and subtlety into thunder, the magnetic Yağmur Yüksel. While others raise their voices to be seen, she has once more proven that she only has to exist, calmly and completely, and the conversation finds her. A photograph, one frame shared during a pause in her relentless schedule, sent shockwaves across timelines and feeds. But, dear Lights on Turkish Stars family, we are not here to chat about any random snapshot. We are here to peel back a riddle. A microscopic detail, almost invisible unless you know where to look, has sparked a wildfire of theories that touch everything from a hidden romance and an eye-watering brand deal to a quiet metamorphosis of spirit. Before we begin our careful, forensic read of the image that froze Turkey and scroll, I extend a heartfelt invitation. If this style of narrative, storytelling that honors the human complexity of artists, resonates with you, subscribe to Lights on Turkish Stars. Tap the bell so that insight arrives the moment we publish. And if you want to stand behind this work and access our in-depth semiotic reads we cannot share publicly, press the join button now. Your support as members keeps us digging, traveling, and listening with the care these lives deserve. Now hush and open your gaze wide. We're about to trace the code of Yağmur Yüksel. The photo landed without teasers or build-up, slicing the monotony of countless grids. In it, we find Yağmur stripped of the armor of her profession. No battering studio lights. No sculpted mask of makeup. No couture screaming for attention. The camera meets a raw, unguarded kind of beauty. Natural light glides across her face and settles on a piece that feels sourced from far within. At Lights on Turkish Stars, we read this choice not as coincidence, but as the thesis of the moment. In an era addicted to airbrushed perfection, she elected to be as she is, in an intimate setting that breathes spontaneity. Fans rushed to celebrate her luminous simplicity, praising how elegance blooms from authenticity. But while most were hypnotized by the brightness in her eyes, a small brigade of trained sleuths pivoted elsewhere, toward a single point that punctured the image's ease and, to many, contained the key to her present and her next act. The epicenter wasn't her smile, or the blurred hush of the background. It was her wrist. Resting there with curated ease lay a minimalist accent, a bracelet that could pass for any dainty adornment, but which, in the visual language of Yağmur, a woman fluent in message-making through minutiae, became the holy relic of speculation. What does that bracelet mean? Theory multiplied by theory, splitting and mutating across comment sections. A cohort of incurable romantics who chart every heartbeat of her love story swears it's a memory made metal. A token from a person who matters, a code for a bond shielded from headlines? A quiet signal about her private life that no caption would spell out? The idea that she slipped a whisper about love onto her skin has alarmed and electrified gossip watchers alike, who see that narrow flash as proof that her heart is spoken for and content. And of course, one name rose with the rumor. Barış Baktas. The gravity between them has been written in glances and guarded words for months. Could the bracelet be his gift? An inside promise? A shared chapter pressed into silver? On the other hand, pragmatists floated a cleaner hypothesis: business. Could that slender band be the first nudge of a major collaboration? Yağmur is a beacon for luxury houses, and subtle product placement can be a masterstroke. Still, the intimacy of the frame makes the idea of advertising feel almost too neat. The piece reads personal, carrying an energy that resists a price tag. At Lights on Turkish Stars, we ask, why choose? What if it is both? A merge of life and image, the private braided with the public in a single circle around her pulse. Let's pause inside this fog of meanings, dear Lights on Turkish Stars family. We want to hear you. Do stars use these small, deliberate details to send messages? Or is it our craving for connection that turns the ordinary into oracle? Have you kept an object that seals a secret memory from your own life? Share your theories and stories in the comments. What does this bracelet signify to you? And remember, if you value this level of reading and want more, click like. If you wish to back our independent deep dives, the join button is your VIP pass to clarity. By joining, you keep our reporting rigorous and brave. Become part of Lights on Turkish Stars and stay at the heart of every revelation. The aftershock did not stop at fans. The celebrity sphere, that glittering, guarded, competitive hall of mirrors, surged with support that did not go unnoticed. Hearts and fire, applause and reverent words spilled from her peers and collaborators. It was a roll call of respect. Yet beneath the emoticons and brief praise lay a subtler affirmation: Yağmur stands in a sweet season of her life. When fellow artists salute your simplicity, they are acknowledging the courage it takes to be seen unarmored. Comments like, "She says everything without a word," and again, "She breaks the feed with a whisper," underline her media force. She doesn't need a scandal. The calm arrangement of her presence generates headlines. And that band on her wrist, endorsed by the quiet nods of the elite, climbs from ornament into symbol, a status piece, a secret, a spell. Beyond the object, the frame itself announces a state of mind. Our analysts at Lights on Turkish Stars studied the atmosphere around her. The background, blurred but tasteful, suggests a restful place, far from the mania of sets and lights. The tender, natural glow hints at a mind unclenched. It matches what she has recently confessed in interviews, that she is entering a quieter, inward-facing phase. The image is her words made visible. It is not a party record, not a work still. It is a portrait of being. Astute followers stitched this to the bracelet and proposed that the circle is more than decoration. It's a talisman for a new chapter. A decided object for a decided calm. The shorthand for a pact with herself. Or, perhaps, a pact shared with the man who has walked beside her. Barış Bakta's a refuge with a name, held close and protected. What makes this moment compelling is the two-way mirror between star and audience. The velocity with which her followers analyzed every pixel was astonishing. They argued over the filter, suspected it was chosen for its slight warmth and memory. They measured the tilt of her hand, the strength of the daylight, even the minute where she hit post. Every crumb of data became a clue. This obsession with detail shows that Yağmur has achieved what few do, a profound, felt bond with her crowd. They do not follow her simply for her beauty. They feel drafted into her arc. They believe she sprinkles breadcrumbs, visual ciphers, and they, the initiated, are invited to decode. It's a dance of unspoken complicity. She tosses the riddle, they polish it into legend. Is she conscious of this power? At Lights on Turkish Stars, we are convinced nothing in her universe is random. Her silence after posting, letting narratives sprout without trimming them, reveals a veteran's command of timing. And then there was Barış. His presence loomed not as a loud proclamation, but as a careful, echoing gesture, a like that arrived quickly, a brief, open-ended comment that read like a smile, a repost without added words. It was enough. It fed the story without freezing it. It honored privacy while acknowledging connection. It felt, in the truest sense, like two people protecting something they value by refusing to package it. We would be remiss not to entertain the professional angle. In the whisper corridors of gossip, it is said that this pause and this quiet frame is the inhale before a storm of work. That Yağmur stands at the edge of a role that will pull every fiber of her craft. Through this lens, the bracelet becomes an Easter egg, a tiny key to the tone of what's next. Fans hypothesize the piece signals a character's backstory or hints at a narrative about survival and grace. They insist the image declares that she is reset, refueled, ready to own her screen again. The elegant minimalism sets her apart, positioning her as approachable yet untouchable, the paradox brands and directors chase. Meanwhile, the couple dynamic hums through every paragraph of this tale. The way Barış moves around public attention, careful, grounded, tender with boundaries, harmonizes with the message of stillness. It is not hard to believe that the calm reflected in her eyes grows, in part, from the steady presence of a partner who understands the cost of being seen. Together, without slogans or stage displays, they are drawing a map of modern celebrity intimacy, private where it matters, expressive where it nourishes the work, precise in the details that they allow to slip through. The bracelet, then, may be a circle inscribed with two stories: her own evolution and the quiet threat of a bond chosen over spectacle. Dear family, before we drift toward our conclusion, thank you for choosing Lights on Turkish Stars as your trusted window into celebrity narratives told with care and depth. If you haven't joined our membership, you are missing access to the exclusive long reads and behind-the-scenes context we reserve for our closest circle. Click Join to help us keep our independence alive and to support the kind of reporting that doesn't settle for surface. Your membership allows us to speak to sources, travel where the story leads, and bring you the truth before it breaks wide. As we tie this chronicle of Yağmur Yüksel's wrist mystery, one lesson remains bright. The true strength of a star is not in how much they show, but in how richly they suggest. She has turned a single photograph into a canvas where millions project desire, theory, and awe. Whether the bracelet is a love symbol, a whisper of commerce, a keepsake of healing, or all three at once, the detail achieved its aim. It kept the world talking without demanding that she speak. And in the soft edges of the frame, we catch the outline of Barış's Baktas. Not as a headline device, but as the unmistakable presence of someone who shares the weather of her days, who understands that sometimes the bravest way to declare love is to let it live uncaptioned. This is not an ending. It is a beginning. An oath that, though this season might be ruled by quiet and introspection, the return to the set will be thunder. When she steps back beneath the lights, the evolution will be visible. The choices sharper. The center steadier. And we will be there reading every frame, because that is our promise to you. At Lights on Turkish Stars, we do not chase noise, we track meaning. If this story made you look at your idol's images with new eyes, don't leave without hitting like, sharing with those who read the world as closely as you do, and subscribing. And yes, once more, consider joining as a member by tapping Join. Your support is the spark that keeps the Lights on Turkish Stars flame alive. Until the next exclusive, we will be watching, listening, and waiting as the tale of Yağmur Yüksel and Barış Baktas writes itself, clue by clue, silence by silence, right before us.